today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. 14 bowlers, 10 bigs and 4 littles, step through the fog and into our fun house of bowling horrors for a special Halloween format I cooked up that is designed to strike fear into even the most tournament-tested bowlers' hearts. We call it Trick or Treat, as easy as 1, 2, 3. And it's built around a series of tricks and treats. Each player begins each game with 1 treat. They can collect additional treats along the way whenever 1 or more colored pins come up in the 1, 2, or 3 pin positions. Make a strike, and you collect as many treats as you had colored pins in the 1, 2, and 3 pin positions. If you had 1 colored pin standing in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spots, when you strike, you bank 1 treat. If you had 2 colored pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spots, when you strike, you bank 2 treats. And if all 3 spots, the 1, 2, and 3, are all filled by colored pins, then you can add 3 treats to your bank with a strike. But you'll need those treats, because if you leave a colored pin standing after your second ball in the frame, that's a trick, and you'll need at least the same number of treats in your bank as the number of colored pins left standing in order to continue. If, for example, you leave 2 colored pins standing after your second ball, but you only have 1 treat banked, then you suffer instant elimination. Too bad. But beware, an open frame in which you leave 1 or more colored pins standing in the 1, 2, or 3 pin positions, and it's into the dungeon for you, regardless of how many treats you have banked. Welcome to instant elimination. Remember, each player starts the game with 1 treat in their bank, and each player may call for a re-rack twice per game. Maybe they want colored pins, or maybe they don't. They have 2 re-racks to play with each game. That's how the game is played. It's trick or treat, as easy as 1, 2, 3. Make your spares and you will survive. But don't get so caught up in thinking about the colored pins that you forget there's a match you have to win in order to advance. Good luck, my little friends. Don't let the tricks trip you up.
Celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. This is Prodigy Bowlers Tour. On the outside, Brunswick Zone Roswell in Roswell, Georgia, doesn't look like such a scary place. But on the inside, today's field must navigate a minefield of hazards and distractions in order to get through to the end. Let's meet the finalists. First, in the Littles division, the number 2 qualifier is Hunter Moffitt. He'll face our tournament leader, Rowan Sautner. These 2 have been on a collision course since Rowan joined our program at Brunswick Zone Roswell. And today, we finally get to see them go head-to-head. Then, it's a 6-player stepladder in the bigs. We begin with a 3-player match between our 6th seed, Logan Mathis, our 5 seed, Anthony Smiga, and our 4 seed, Annalise O'Brien. The winner of that match will advance to bowl our number 3 seed, Faith Roper, and our 2 seed, Dakota Talbert. And the winner of that 3-player match will land in the championship match, where they'll bowl head-to-head against our tournament leader, Jesse Hamadi. Dakota and Jesse are making their first appearances of the season on Prodigy today. But all these players will have to tiptoe through the torture of today's intimidating format. Oh, and did I mention, they'll be bowling on the challenging oil pattern known as Dead Man's Curve. 43 feet with a fairly moderate volume, but not much help to guide the ball to your target. The players with the strongest will and the steadiest nerve will likely emerge victorious today. So let's get started. In the Littles division, you see how the qualifying round went. Rowan pretty much dominated play from the very first game. He and Hunter were clearly the class of the division. It's the championship match with the Littles. Rowan, being the top qualifier, had the choice, and he chose to start the match. And we can already see, as the two of them exchange handshakes, that Rowan's got a whole bevy of colored pins, including a 1 and a 2 pin, so he can pick up a couple more treats. Ooh, well, that's not what he wanted. Now he's got a problem. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. Here's how you make it, but he's probably not thinking about making it, or he shouldn't be anyway, because he's got color 1, 2, 4, and 10 pins. He can't leave the 1 and the 2 because that's an instant elimination. He's only got 1 treat. He needs to knock down the 1, 2, and 4. Oh, no. And that's it. Game over. And Hunter has won the championship in the Littles, and he can't believe it. I hate that it worked out that way for Rowan, but that is the nature of this quirky game. And, well, we're on to the bigs next. The Littles championship is already decided.
Well, that's it, everybody. Mark 125 for the final man on the Hot Shots team. The Tigers need a big spare to win. It's all up to this battler, Timmy Cole, right now. Here's Cole up at the skittleboard, lining up, and... No! A tough break! Now Timmy has that pesky 3-5-7 combination to pick up the spare. Will he play it safe? No, he's going for all 3. We'll be back after a closer look at Skittlebowl.
Skittlebowl is made by Aurora. It's a game of skill that any number can play. Children tend to be remarkably good at it when they can get it away from their parents. Skittlebowl by Aurora.
Come on, a little quiet. Now back to the action. Cole with his final shot, and he's done it! He has done it! The Tigers win the championship!
Skittlebowl, the next best thing to having a bowling alley in your home.
You know, when the rules for this crazy format were first dreamed up a year ago, we knew that just such an outcome could happen. And indeed, last year, Charlie Bostic was eliminated in the very first frame of one of his matches when he left a big split. Uh-oh! It happens. But it was an especially tough pill for Rowan to swallow because he outbowled Hunter in the qualifying round. Heck, he outbowled everybody in the qualifying round, including all the bigs. Rowan's 2-game total of 361 was the highest of anyone bowling Prodigy today, bigs or littles. And he looked like he was ready to put a big exclamation point on the day by winning the championship match in the littles. But what you witnessed is an example of the cruelty that this format can inflict. The pivotal moment in the match came not when the players were bowling, but when Rowan made the choice to go first and then didn't take a re-rack when he saw all those colored pins in the rack. He'll know next time. But in a goodwill gesture, Hunter has invited Rowan to go practice down on another pair of lanes, and the two of them appear to be having a good old time. So I suspect Rowan's tears will dry pretty quickly. But right now, it's on to the bigs, where we begin with a 3-player match between the 6-seed, Big Logan Mathis, the 5-seed, Anthony Smiga, and the 4-seed, Annalise O'Brien. Now, the choice of starting lane went to the highest finisher. That would be Annalise. She chose to start on the left lane. Now, we're going to bowl league style with 3 players. Obviously, it's not PBA style. Look at this. She's got 5, or is it 6? Yeah, 6 color pins. There's 7 color pins in each machine. And she's got a 1, 2, and a 3. She could pick up 3 treats with a strike here. But that one goes high, and she's got a spare. Now that 3-pin, should she miss it, she can't buy that one off with a treat, because the 1, 2, and 3 pins, you leave a color pin standing in those spots, and it's instant elimination. So she at least has to take out the 3-pin just to continue. Obviously, she'd like to make the spare. And she does. And that's how it's done. Okay, now Big Logan Am on the right side. He's got a 2 and a 3-pin, so he can pick up 2 treats here. And he does, with a late 10-pin going out. No color pins here for Anthony, so no treats available. But he gets a strike and a fast start. Now, you see on the score sheet, next to their names, you see the little piece of candy, and next to that is a number with a circle around it. That indicates the number of treats they have banked. They start with 1. Logan picked up 2 more, so he now has 3. Annalise can pick up 1 with a strike because she has a color 2-pin. You saw her motion left. She knew that was left. She leaves the 3-9. Now, Big Logan, again, with color pins aplenty. The 1, 2, and 3. He can pick up 3 more treats. And he does. So he goes from 3 to 6 treats. And he's got a lot of treats banked in just 2 frames. Those may come in handy later. Now, Annalise for her spare. No color pin standing, so she's in no danger of being eliminated here. And a good cover of the 3-9. We'll give you a look at the rack before they throw their first ball. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3-pin spots, so no treats available. But he leaves the 6-pin. Now, Anthony has 1 treat in his bank. That's one of the changes in the rule this year. They start with 1 treat. He's got to make it, or he loses that treat. And he runs by the 6-pin. So he surrenders that 1 treat. And now you see on Anthony's score sheet, no treats. So he'll be flying without a net unless and until he can pick up another treat or 2. Are you confused? Well, we'll try to explain it as we go along. All right, Annalise up on the left lane. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3-pin spot, so no treats available to pick up here. And once again, Annalise goes high on that left lane, leaves the 3-pin. Now, Big Logan on the right, no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3. And he goes right between the 1 and 6 and leaves a very unusual 1, 2, 6 with a color 6-pin. All right, Annalise for her spare. One of the best spare shooters you will see on Prodigy. She covers it. All right, Big Logan leaves a color pin. That's 1. He had 6 treats. Now he's down to 5. He was able to pay for that one. Anthony with a 3-pin up. Uh-oh. And this is trouble. He has no treats banked. So in order to continue, he's going to have to make the 7-10 split because they're both color pins. He has no treat to pay for any color pin left standing. But we'll let Annalise go first. She's a daring soul bowling with a big split up on the lane next to her. I know a lot of people superstitious that wouldn't do that. She's got that color 3-pin. Comes in light, leaves the 8. All right, Anthony must make to continue. Ooh. And that is curtains for Anthony. He's done after 3 frames. Annalise with 1 treat in her bank and a color 8-pin. Got to make it or she surrenders that treat she has. I can't even fathom Annalise missing an 8-pin. All right, Big Logan on the left lane. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 spots. So no treats available. Little high, leaves the 4. Now the one thing you've got to be careful of in this game is to not get so caught up thinking about color pins and treats and tricks and what you got to do to stay alive. You got to remember that there's a match being played, and right now just 1 pin separates Annalise and Logan. And Big Logan covers the 4-pin. Now we will skip Anthony. He's done. So now Annalise with a color 3-pin, so she can pick up 1 more treat if she can strike here in the 5th frame. Well, it's a crossover. Probably not a strike she's especially proud of, but by golly, she'll take it, and that gives her a 2nd treat in her bank. And now Big Logan with another treat available, that 2-pin, a color pin. And he gets a crossover as well, so what's good for the goose is good for the gander. They each get a crossover strike and each pick up another treat in the process. But now, as you see, there's 1 pin separating these two. 76 with a strike up for Annalise, 75 with a strike up for Logan. And you hear me conferring with Annalise about the advisability of taking re-racks when you have the opportunity. She has no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3-pin position, but she does have a 4 and a 10-pin color pins, which can be problematic if she would have happened to leave that split. She goes high, leaves the 3. All the color pins are gone. So no risk of having to surrender any treats or anything like that. It's just pretty much a garden variety spare here to shoot. She's playing outside on her first ball. Going cross lane at the 3 from the left side. And covers the 3-pin right square in the middle. Again, no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3-pin spots, so no treats available. Logan's already got 6 of them. How many treats could you possibly need? Ooh. Well, there's the 3, 4, 6, 7. And here's how you make it, whether any of the pins are color pins or not. Slide that 3 over into the 4 and hope you get the 7 as well. Oh! Well, he bounced one out. Boy, Anthony would have liked to have bounced one out a while ago when he had that 7-10 split. But that's an open frame for Logan, and now Annalise takes a 15-pin lead. And she's getting some advice from her dad saying, take a re-rack. He sees that 3, 6, and 7 pin, all color pins. She's been going high on this lane some this match, and this might be a smart decision. If she were to leave a 3-6 or a 3-6-7, all color pins, let's see what she gets here. Nothing in the 1, 2, or 3 pin position, so nothing that could take her out immediately. Might have been a wise decision. Sure enough, she goes high and leaves the 3-6-10. The 3 and 6 were both colored pins on that first rack, so that may have been a very wise decision. All right, she left this spare earlier in the match, in the first frame, and made it. Let's see what she can do with it this time. She moves to the extreme left side of the approach. And I know she didn't mean to make it on the left side, but it's a spare nonetheless. Now Logan has a 2-pin. So another treat available if he can strike. But instead he leaves a split. The 4-9. Here's how you make it. Put the ball on the extreme left edge of the 4-pin. Slide it into the 9. It can be done. But not like that. And that's back-to-back opens for Logan. And he falls further behind. There's a 1-pin, color pin. He's already got 6 treats. I wouldn't think he really needs any more. Comes in thin, leaves the 2. Now, if he misses the 2-pin here, he's not instantly eliminated because it's not a color pin. And he covers it. His problem now is that he's just fallen way behind. Here's a color 1 and 3 for Annalise, so she can pick up 2 more treats with a strike. I think she'd just like to stay out ahead in the match. Oh, well, you're not going to do it that way. And now she's got a color 6 and a color 7 pin. So if she takes the 6-10 and leaves the 4 and 7, she will surrender 1 treat. Or if she takes the 4 and 7 and leaves the 6 and 10, she'll surrender a treat. If she leaves both the 6 and 7, she'll surrender both treats. But that's a smart play right there. 8 out. It's an open frame. It tightens the match. She leads by 7, and she's down to just 1 treat. And she's going to have an opportunity to get it right back here with a color head pin. A strike here, and she'd pick up that treat that she just gave up. This time it crosses over, and she leaves the 6-pin. No danger here, no color pins, just a single pin spare. She goes to her spare ball, plastic ball. She'll go cross lane at it. She turned around, she hates it. And that's why. I don't believe I've ever seen Annalise miss a single pin spare. Call the newspaper. And that gives Logan a big opportunity here. He's also got a color head pin so he can pick up a treat, but again, he's got 6 of them with just 2 frames left. If he strikes out, he shoots 190. The best Annalise can do is 176. And there's one on the 9th. So he's off and running. And Big Logan is calling for a re-rack. He doesn't want anything to do with this color 1 and 2 pin that he's looking at. So he will sweep those away. And we'll have a look at what the pin setter gives him. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3. A strike here on the first ball in the 10th, and he can shut out Annalise. But he comes up a little high and leaves the 4. So what that means is with a spare and a strike on the fill ball, he will shoot 170. Annalise can throw 3 strikes in the 10th and shoot 176. So Logan has left the door open. He needs to make this spare. All right. So a strike will give him 170. Now you don't have to worry about color pins left on a fill ball. He's already marked in the 10th, so any color pins left standing are irrelevant now. He gets 9. So that's a 169. Annalise needs 2 strikes. She must strike in the 10th and 11th to win this match. Now, she's got a color pin up, but this is really irrelevant. If she doesn't strike, Logan wins. She must strike here. And she crosses over, leaves the 5, and that'll do it. Big Logan Mathis has won this opening match in the bigs and will be moving on. And I know that's disappointing for Annalise because when she's in a must-strike situation, she fully expects to perform. But that missed 6 pin in the 9th put her behind the 8 ball. I've never seen her do that. Miss a single pin spare. Well, the 7 count at the end is a moot point. It's Big Logan with a 169 game. That's enough to move on to match 2. He'll face Dakota and Faith next.
Bowling for excitement, bowling just for fun. Bowling for the action when the weekend comes. Shake 'em up, shake 'em up. It's the weekend blast when the lanes are fast. Shake 'em up. We're bowling after dinner, putting on a show. Everyone's a winner, man, you gotta go. Shake 'em up, shake 'em up. Do it day or night, bowling's out of sight. Shake 'em up.
Shake up your weekend plans. Get out and bowl wherever you see this sign.
Although Anthony made a frightful early exit when he had both a color 7 and 10 standing with no treats to ensure his survival. Doggone it if he didn't almost make the 7-10 split. That would have really been something. But it was not to be, and Anthony was eliminated in frame 3. But Annalise and Logan continued to the very end, and one rare missed single-pin spare in the 9th frame cost Annalise dearly, as she was unable to come up with a double in the 10th to nip Logan at the end. So it's Big Logan Mathis who's moving on to match 2, where he'll face our 3-seed Faith Roper and our 2-seed Dakota Talbert. The handshake to get things started, and as I mentioned earlier, the higher finisher got the choice of starting lane, then the second option went to the second highest player. We see that Dakota has no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spot, so he'll just be bowling for a strike. But misses the head pin entirely and leaves the 1, 2. Now you'll notice that all those treats that Logan amassed in the last game are gone. He's down to just the 1 that we give them to start the match. But he's got a colored pin up in the 1 pin position and a chance to add a second treat. And that's how it's done right there. And now Dakota for the 1, 2 spare. And an easy conversion. And we get our first look at Faith today. Colorful in her tie-dye shirt. A colorful 1 pin and a bunch more color pins as well. And look at that. Faith rips the rack. And so she picks up a second treat. No color pins here in the 1, 2, or 3 for Dakota, so no treats available. And that one hooks high, and he leaves the 6 pin. Big Logan with a color 2 pin, so a chance to add a third treat. And he just plows him over with that one, so a double to start. Dakota straight at the 6 pin. And a couple of spares to begin. And now Faith on the right lane. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin position, so no treats available. And that was high flush, but she leaves a stone 7. And can't be happy about that. Here is a color 2 and 3 pin for Dakota, so he has 2 treats available if he can strike. And that's how it's done right there. Man, those pins had no chance. So he has 3 treats now. Faith for the spare. Picks up the 7 pin, no problem. She bowled well in qualifying. She and Dakota right there in the Dakota in the 2nd seed. Faith 3rd. Logan with a color 2 pin, so he can get another treat here. Man, all of a sudden he's on fire. And here's a color 1 pin for Faith. And that is wide of the mark. She has left the 1, 2, 4, 8. Dakota with no color 1, 2, or 3 pins. And he scatters them with a going away Brooklyn. All right, Faith got to knock down the 1 pin at least. She just got back to it. and made the spare in the process. A rather unconventional way of making the 1-2-4-8. And now Big Logan up on the left lane, and he's got a collection of colored pins here. And he's got one in the 2-pin position, so he can pick up still another treat. Well, not by throwing it there, he can't. And now he's got a bit of a problem. Here's Faith. A color 2-pin available. But she leaves a split, the 3, 4, 6, 7. Now Logan has 4 treats available, so if he leaves any pins, he can buy them off with the treats unless he leaves the 2-pin. You can't buy off the 1, 2, or 3-pin if you leave it, and it's a color pin, so he's got to at least get the 2. Well, he just does. He leaves a 4-pin standing. That's a color pin, so he'll have to surrender a treat. He's down to 3. And Faith well wide of the mark, and that's a 6 out. She doesn't surrender any treats because there were no color pins standing, but that's not what she had in mind there. The head pin fell over for some reason on lane 40. All right, Dakota, no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3. He'll just settle for a regular strike if he can get it. You're not going to get it throwing it over there. Looks to me like Dakota is staying in the ball a little too long. Last time we saw Dakota on Prodigy, he was on the winning team in one of the team events that we held. Uno, dos, tres, I believe was that show. But the ball was coming off a lot cleaner off his hand. Now it seems like his thumb is hanging in the ball for some reason. He's giving it the big loft every time. See that? Pretty good shot that time. He makes the spare, but lost a bunch of pins in count, starting with 3 while he was working on a double. And now Faith with, my goodness, she's got 5 colored pins here, including a head pin. And that is well wide of the mark. She leaves the 1, 2, and the 1 pin is a colored pin. And Logan is taking his first re-rack. You're allowed 2 in each game. He didn't want all those color pins. So he will shoot at this rack. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3. So no treats available, but he gets a strike. Faith got to at least knock down the head pin. She does, and she covers the spare, so no problem there. The problem for everyone right now is Logan is just striking like a madman. If it weren't for that open frame, he'd be running away with it. As it is, he and Dakota are still within just a few pins of one another. And Dakota is going to take a re-rack on the right lane. He's got the 2, 3, 7, and 10 pins. There's also a color 9 back there. The Brunswick A2 machine operates with 21 pins. And we asked him to put 7 colored pins in each one of these machines, so a third of them are color pins. It seems like they're coming up about every other rack, though, for whatever reason. They're just not getting mixed very well. Dakota leaves the 6-10 on a crossover. No color pins here to shoot. He'll go cross lane at the spare. And he covers it. So now Big Logan with no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 spots, so no treats available, but a chance to put a double on the board and move farther out ahead. Now how about that one right there? Here's a 1 and 3 pin for Faith. But that ball doesn't get up, and she leaves the 1, 2, and the sleeper 8. Once again, the 1 pin, a color pin, so she's got to at least knock it down. All right, Dakota is contemplating whether he wants to shoot this rack or take a re-rack. There's a spare for Faith. So Dakota is looking at the rack. He's got a color 3 pin and a bunch of others, at least a couple more. The 4, 6, 5, and 8 are all color pins as well. He's going to shoot it. He can pick up a treat with a strike because of that 3 pin. But instead, he leaves the 3 pin. And you don't want to leave it after your second ball because you can't buy your way out of a color 3 pin left standing. 1, 2, or 3 pin. Color pin left standing after the second ball, and you're done, regardless of how many treats you have banked. Got to bear down on this one, not let an easy one get away. And he takes care of the 3 pin. This game may seem a little gimmicky to some, I know, but it definitely makes you think. It can also be a distraction. As I mentioned earlier, these kids have got to remember that they've got a match they've got to win. Big Logan with a 2 pin available. He can get another treat with a strike here. And there it goes. So that puts a 4th treat in his bank, and he now has a couple of turkeys this game. Faith, no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spots. And how about that strike right there? You like that one a little bit? All right, Dakota, he's got a couple of color pins here, 2 and 3. But again, he leaves a color 3 pin, and that's a problem pin if you leave it. Big Logan going for his 4th strike in a row. Comes in light, gets the 2 off the wall, and in the process, he adds a 5th treat to his bank. All right, Dakota must make the 3 pin. Big loft delays the hook. And he covers the spare, so Faith now with no color pins, no treats available, and oh dear. That one just had to have slipped off her hand, I guess. And she's working on a strike, so she doesn't lose any pins in count. And she does have that color 10 pin down there. If she would happen to leave it after this second ball, she could buy her way out of it with one of those treats she has on her board, but she doesn't need to. The 10 goes down, so it's just an open frame, although I don't think Faith is going to catch Logan. No color pins in the 1, 2, 3 for Dakota. Oh, and he goes through the nose and leaves the 4-6-7. Big Logan. Man, he is just in dead stroke. Wow. Well, mathematically, Logan has this match wrapped up. The only hope the other two have is for Logan to get tripped up by a color pin in the 10th frame. Dakota open in the 9th. The best he can do is 194. Logan's got that beat if he doesn't throw a ball in the 10th. The best Faith can do is 183. She can't catch Logan. She leaves a 10 pin, a color pin. Now, even though Logan has this match wrapped up mathematically, if he would happen to open in the 10th and leave the 1, 2, or 3 as a color pin, well, anything's possible. Dakota leaves a 4 pin. And Faith whiffs the 10 pin, so she will have to spend one of her 2 treats to stay in the match. Well, there is a color head pin in Logan's rack. If he would happen to leave, oh, I don't know, a washout and leave that head pin standing, he'd be eliminated. But now that's not going to happen. He has struck in the 10th, and color pins on the fill ball don't matter because he's already marked in the frame. So with that ball, Big Logan has won this match. And he is moving on to the championship match and will face Jesse Hamadi for the title in the Trick or Treat As Easy as 1, 2, 3 event today. Dakota leaving the 3-6 on his fill ball. Wow. Another good shot. That was for 260. He will have to settle for a 254 if he makes the 10 pin. By far, the biggest game we've seen today in this event. And that is a 254. Good game. All right, Faith will go through the formality of finishing up her match. She hits thin and leaves the 245, a couple of color pins there. And she only has 1 treat, so she's not going to win this game. It's just a matter of, does she finish with a score, or does she finish with the skull on her sheet? Well, look out. She hooks by. She only has 1 treat to surrender and 2 color pins, so she will not register a score this game. It's Big Logan Mathis who will face Jesse Hamadi for the championship. Hey, it's me, Coach Randy, with exciting news about a new way you can help support Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Over the past couple of years, we've had a number of Prodigy fans say they'd love to offer something in payment for the Prodigy content seen each week on YouTube throughout the bowling season. Well, I'm pleased to announce that Prodigy is now on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, in case you're not familiar with it, Patreon is a platform where YouTube content consumers like you can connect directly with YouTube content creators like me and pledge a small amount of money each month to support the work that goes into creating the content that you enjoy watching. It's based on the age-old concept of patrons. About 30 to 40 hours of work goes into the production of each and every episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. So if you enjoy the content on Prodigy Bowlers Tour each week and you'd like to support the show, please check it out at patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. There are 4 affordable subscription tiers, and each one offers a different reward, up to and including sneak peeks of shows before they're released to the public, exclusive behind-the-scenes content that only members will ever see, and there's even a tier that will enable you to get all that and get your name in the credits each week as a producer of the show. You'll be helping me to be able to continue making the show each week and even reinvest some of the money into improving the show going forward. Thanks for checking it out, and thanks for supporting Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Well, we almost got through an entire match without one of the players being eliminated by the colored pin tricks, but I think Faith already knew Logan already had the match put away when she tossed that last ball away with 2 colored pins on the deck and only 1 treat in her bank. The result was the same either way. It's Big Logan Mathis who has climbed the stepladder from the 6th position, and now he's in the championship match where he'll face Jesse Hamadi. You know, the first time Jesse appeared on Prodigy a couple of seasons ago, he threw his first 3 balls in the gutter to make what you'd have to say was an inauspicious debut. I think you're going to be amazed at how far he's come in a relatively short period of time. Although this young man isn't active on the tournament circuit, I think you'll agree when you see him that maybe he should be. He certainly bowled well to get himself into this position today. Being the higher finisher, he had the choice of starting lanes, and we're bowling this match PBA style since there's just 2 of them, so he will lead off on the left lane with a color 3-pin where he can pick up a second treat. But you got to strike to get those treats, and Jesse leaves the 10. He goes with a plastic ball for his right side spares. I think he uses it on most spares, actually. And that time he sends it wide and misses the 10 pin. So he's open in the first frame. And now Big Logan coming off that big game. He's got to be brimming with confidence right about now. No colored pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spots, though. And look at this. He leaves the 2-10, the 10, a color pin. He has just 1 treat. So if he were to knock down the 2 and leave the 10, he'd have to spend the treat just to stay in the game. What's he going to do here? Oh, he's going for the 10 and misses it. So the best laid plans, he had the idea of knocking down the 10 to preserve the treat, but he missed the 10 and opens and loses the treat. So now Big Logan flying without a net. He has no treats to bail him out, but he can pick up a couple right here if he can strike. He's got the color 1 and 3. He took a big deep breath. Comes up light though, leaves the 2. No color pins to be concerned with. Now, one thing about Logan, he has extra motivation today. He's got his family in from Tennessee. His dad, his stepmom, and his 2 grandparents are all here watching. His dad's the one that introduced him to bowling. Picks up the spare in the second frame. And now Jesse up on the right lane. Jesse's bowled on Prodigy a few times. Look at this. He's got 3 color pins in the 1, 2, and 3 spots. He could get to 4 treats, but he's going to take a re-rack right here. He wants nothing to do with those 7 and 10 pin color pins. I can't say that I blame him. The 1, 2, 3, 7, and 10, all color pins. No thanks. So he will shoot at this instead. No color pins to pick up a treat, but nothing too threatening either. Well, that one goes high. And now he leaves the 3, 6, 10. That's 6 pin, a color pin. If he would happen to leave it, he's got the 1 treat. He can buy his way out of this. But he covers the spare and no need to spend a treat. Well, Jesse bowls on Prodigy once in a while. He hasn't really bowled it as many times as some of our kids do, but he's been on a few times and has showed improvement over the period of time he's been on it. There's a color 1 pin. Another treat available here. But he's never been in this position, the top seed. That ball goes high. He leaves the 3, 6. Having never been in this position before, it'll be interesting to see how Jesse handles it. Oh, my goodness. Well, he went wide going for the 10 pin. He protected against that and chopped the 3 off the 6. So 2 opens in 3 frames. Not the start he wanted, for sure. And Big Logan has a 12-pin lead. And he's got to feel like he's gotten off easy here because he hasn't gotten off with the best start either. Oh, my goodness. He must have moved that 10 pin 2 inches. The base of that 10 pin, I think, is hanging over the edge in the gutter. But it's a 10 pin nonetheless, and he'll go cross lane at it. Oh, but the ball falls off into the channel. It bounced out and got the 10, but that doesn't count. Once the ball falls into the gutter, it's dead. Watch this. Off it goes into the channel, and that ball is a dead ball after that. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 here for a treat. But he finds the pocket, and that's a big-time strike. High flush right there. We'll watch this one again. I know he wanted to bowl well today with his family in town. All right, Jesse with a 2 and a 3 pin. A chance to pick up 2 more treats. He's just got 1 right now. And he gets a light shaker to go. So he goes from 1 to 3 treats, puts a strike up in the 4th to keep pace with Big Logan. And we'll see this one again. Playing just outside the 3rd arrow, out to about the 7th board at the break point. And he shakes him up. Another couple of pins in the 1 and 2 spots for 2 more treats available should he strike here in the 5th. And he gets another wall shot to go. So, watch this. The ball will come in light. He'll send the head pin to the left wall, and it'll come back and do the damage on the 4 and 7. And now Big Logan with a color head pin. He can pick up a treat here. And he gets it. He was going without any treats ever since he surrendered the one he had in his bank. Watch this one. Another solid strike. Man, he's been bowling well since that 2nd game. All right, now he's got a bunch of color pins over on the left side of the rack. The most important one is the 2 pin. He can get another treat here with a strike. And he plows him over again. Wow. Keeping the heat on Jesse. Inside the 3rd arrow, out to about 8. And 10 back. Yes, Jesse, I would stretch my legs too. All right, you got a color 1 and 3 for 2 more treats. If you can strike here, he needs it to stay even with Logan. And he gets it. Look at these two. Each with turkeys. And suddenly, these two have heated up the competition. That's another good one. All right, 3 in a row. See if he can make it 4. Man, he's working over that ball like crazy. Now he's gonna go to the rosin bag. Get the brush out, work on the shoe. Wants to make sure everything is just so. There's a color 3 pin. So another treat available if he can strike here in the 7th frame. This time the shaker won't go. He leaves the 7. And he falls 1 pin behind. Man, he is really working over that ball. All right, he goes with the plastic ball, even for his left side spares. And takes care of the 7 pin. Well, except for what happened to Rowan and Anthony, we really haven't seen the color pins come into play much today. At least in terms of eliminating players. Big Logan with no color pins here. And he comes in thin and leaves the 2-4-8. Here's how you make it. He had this earlier when all 3 pins were color pins. This time, none of them are color pins. So he won't have to surrender any treats should he happen to miss it. And once again, he comes in thin on it, but this time he converts it. And he is going for his first re-rack of the match. Doesn't like this one. Doesn't like the 3, 4, 6, 5, 8. All color pins. Well, sometimes you see those color pins sitting far apart, like a 4, 6, when you've just got 2 treats. I don't blame him. All right, a couple of color pins in there, but they're in the 5 and 10 spots. Probably not a problem. There's no problem now. Solid strike. I tell you what, this year we added the treat that the players get to start the match. Last year they started without any treats in their bank. And we also gave them the 2 re-racks this year, which they didn't have last year. And I think that's made this a much more strategic game. Color 1 pin for Jesse. He can pick up another treat here with a strike. He leads by 2 pins. But goes a little high, breaks up the split. Had the 4-9 peeking at him, but the 4 goes out. He loses a pin in count, so the lead is down to 1. And he's got a simple spare, the 9 pin. Well, I will say this for Jesse. He has proven himself to be up to the challenge. He has stayed with Big Logan. And he takes care of the 9 pin and takes a 1 pin lead into the 9th and 10th frames. I love it when the matches are close. But now you have to wonder, Jesse, having never been in this position before, he's got a couple of color pins, the 1 and 2. He's got 7 treats already. I wouldn't think he would really need any more, but is he getting a little fidgety here toward the end? I don't know. That was a pretty good ball right there. He can't believe that 8 pin stood. The stone 8. The one true tap in bowling. Watch his reaction. He cannot believe it. Pretty good-natured about it, though. I don't know if I'd be smiling in that situation. That 9 count means we've got an even match if he converts it. And he does. So this match all even as Logan steps up in the 9th with a strike up in the 8th. So he can take a 10-pin lead right here if he can put a double on the board. Big Logan has won on a team event on Prodigy, but never an individual title. He rips the rack, picks up a 3rd treat as that color 1 pin goes flying like shrapnel. And now Big Logan is about to throw the biggest shot he's ever thrown on Prodigy. See you later, pins. All right, with a strike here in the 10th, he can shut out Jesse. No color pins in the 1, 2, or 3 pin spot. Oh my. The 4, 6, 10. Well, I'm sure he'll go for the 2 on the right. And I'll tell you what, if there's any player that bowls on Prodigy that could bounce one out, it's Big Logan. And he's going to stop. He can get a little wild when he's mad. And I know he can't be real happy with that first ball. He's going to slow down because, you know what? Count might be important. You don't want to be throwing away pins here. Get 9 anyway. He does. And that is a 188 game. He hands the lead to Jesse with that open frame in the 10th. And now Jesse needs to fill 16 pins in the 10th to win. Now remember, he's working on a spare. So he's got to watch his count on the first ball too. There's a 1, 2, and a 3 pin. He's not thinking about colored pins, although I think I might take a re-rack right here. I don't want any of those pins to deprive me of a win. Well, he gets all the color pins out and gets 9. So he's going to need this spare. And then he'll need 7 on the fill ball to win. But first things first, he must make this spare. Boy, he didn't hit all of it, but he hit enough of it. And now it comes down to this. Wipe that ball off, get all the oil off, my young friend, because this may be the most important ball he's ever thrown. Jesse, not a tournament player, as we mentioned earlier, so he hasn't really been in a situation even approximating this. 7 pins or better to win. 6 is a tie. 5 or less is no good. Logan would be the winner. He needs 7. Oh, my goodness gracious. We have a tie. Didn't see that coming.
So what that means is...
So here you go. Here's how this works. They will bowl a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. This is old school PBA style here. The player who was on the bench will throw the first frame. It's a 2-frame roll-off. Logan is taking his second re-rack. On this first one, he's got 3 color pins in the 1, 2, and 3 pin positions, and he wants none of it. So he's going to get rid of that rack. He will throw 1 frame on the left lane, and then he will sit down. And then Jesse will bowl his 9th frame on the right lane and a 10th frame on the left lane. And then Logan will be up on the right lane to see if we can break this tie. But Logan will start this roll-off on the left lane. Boom. The gauntlet has been thrown down, Jesse.
That was your last re-rack.
Let's see how he responds to this. First, we'll take another look at this strike by Logan. This is clutch. Puts all the pressure on Jesse. Now remember, the colored pins are still in play. There's a color 2 pin. He could pick up another treat. He's already got 7. I don't think he's going to need it. No, man! He gets just enough of the 4 pin to trip it out. Watch this. This ball is drifting high. And the 2-pin will just barely graze the 4-pin as it goes by. Man, that's a break. And now Jesse is going to take his second re-rack. He's got a 2 and a 3-pin and a 6-pin, and I'm not sure if there are any others, but there's an 8-pin back there as well. But he doesn't want anything to stand between him and getting through this. He's going through a few extra motions this time just to stay loose. There is a color 2-pin, but he is out of re-racks. So he will... Well, no, he won't. He will set the ball down. And, man, need a little more tension. And are you kidding? Are you kidding me? The lanes have shut off. And the guy at the counter has turned off our lanes. Well, yeah, it's Sandy. Sandy at the counter. Oh, my goodness. Sandy's the same one who was responsible for the crazy dough incident when Charlie had, I think, the front 10. And Sandy made some announcement on the PA right in the middle of Charlie's backswing. And then just a week or two ago, Logan Fossum had the front 10, and Sandy turned off his lanes. And Logan did go on and shoot 300, though. It didn't distract him that much, but now Jesse, just as he was about to throw his first ball in what amounts to a 10th frame in this 2-frame roll-off, both players with strikes in their first frame in the roll-off, what essentially is a 9th frame. And now we wait while he gets the lanes turned back on. Man! You could cut the tension with the knife. Wow. This is very unfortunate, but boy, couldn't ask for more drama. All right, we just need to key something into the overhead score. We're keeping score for this roll-off by hand, so we don't really have to worry about the scores being right in the overhead score sheet. So, all right, Jesse's just going to have to regroup. He was about to throw his ball in this 10th frame, and then he set the ball down, wanted to reset. And then just as he was about to go, the lanes went off. So now after this is like calling a timeout on a kicker trying to kick the winning field goal at the end of a game. Oh my goodness! What a break! I wondered how Jesse would react to that. The ball goes high, and he gets the break of the year. Watch this. The ball's going to go high. I think it's the 3-pin that goes to the right wall, and here it comes. My goodness gracious. This time we'll watch his reaction. Well, now Jesse is in the catbird seat. He's really put the pressure on Logan now. Can he get another one? No, it comes up thin. He leaves the 258. So if he spares here, he shoots 47. Here's how you make the 258. Put the ball just on the right side of the 2. Let the ball drive on through. Take out the 8. Even if he were to miss this completely, he would shoot 44. And that would force Logan to get the first strike in the 10th. So it's just a matter of count. Obviously, you'd like to get as much as you can. And he's going to back off again. I think he's complaining about the music that's playing. He thinks that girls just want to have fun, and it's driving him crazy. But actually, that's not girls just want to have fun. That's Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody. And right now, he needs to be thinking about this spare and not about the song. Just shut it out and throw your best shot. Well, that one hooks by. So that's 8 out. He shoots 45, but either way, it's going to force Logan to throw the first strike in the 10th. Well, Logan has been here before. The very first time he came to bowl Prodigy, almost 2 years ago, he got to the championship match, was bowling against Logan Fossum, got up in the 10th frame with a chance to win. He needed a strike in the 10th. He has no color pins in the 1, 2, or 3, so that's good news for Logan. And he went a little high and left a 4-pin. He must strike here, or Jesse is the winner. Bullseye. Now, it's not over just yet, but that's about as good a shot as you're ever going to see. Crunch. Did he like it? I think so. All right. He needs 8. 8 on this ball would shut out Jesse. And he might throw his hat through the ceiling this time. That is the first singles title for Logan Mathis on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, and it came in overtime against Jesse Hamadi. And Big Logan had to perform in a roll-off to get it done. And let me tell you something, I've spent enough time with this young man to know that's a huge monkey off his back. He will just let the last one go straight down the middle, and that is a win for Big Logan Mathis. And we will visit with him when we return.
Excuse me, are you guys bowling fans?
Yes, we sure are.
Yeah, I bowled as a kid. It's what you did. It was cool.
Bowling was big. It was bigger than football.
The word bowling is funny.
Big belly, beer drinking idiots.
Perceptions are very difficult to change over the years.
Americans don't spend as much time either in bowling leagues or other common activities. We have to do something about that.
We desperately need credibility. Our value is limited unless we do things to push our value up.
We live in the United States of entertainment.
And the two things that drive our business are the audience and sponsors, not the players.
And in the United States of entertainment, the one sin you cannot commit is to bore somebody.
If you want it to be big, you want to get on the air with a bang. Bam!
You are being given a privilege because of your skills.
A lot of guys my age feel a little resentment.
I try to convey a positive image. You get Pete Weber, just the opposite.
Get it right there!
were contacted about sponsoring the sport. Basically, anyone who has stinky feet.
When Pete finished his match, he said, I want to play the best in the world. And Walter Ray looked at him and said, bring it on.
I made a decision to basically give my entire life to bowling.
Go for it. Spectacular.
I just want it to be a great show, and I think we're getting there. We've come a long way, baby.
How cool is this?
I like the drama. I love it. I love it.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Earlier in the day today, we had our annual Halloween costume contest. And here were our 4 winners. From left to right, Rowan Sautner is under the unicorn head. That's little Jonathan Berninger, dressed as an astronaut. The devilish court jester is Hunter Moffat. And dressed up as Spider Bowler is Spiros Schenk. They all got a little prize and a lot of love from all the kids, parents, and coaches who participate in our youth bowling program at Brunswick Zone Roswell. Congratulations to Hunter Moffat, who captured the title in the Littles division earlier in our Trick or Treat as easy as 1, 2, 3 competition. Although I think everyone felt bad for Rowan, who outbowled everyone in the Prodigy field today, including all the bigs, only to suffer instant elimination in his very first frame of the championship match. It's just the nature of this devilishly diabolical format. I told you this format would strike fear into the hearts of all bowlers. Hunter won the title today without ever even throwing a ball in the championship match. Crazy. Over in the bigs, we had about as thrilling an event as we could ever hope for. The first match came down to the 10th frame. Then Big Logan Mathis went off and threw a huge game in the second match. And in the championship match, Jesse Hamadi, who'd never been in this situation before, gave Big Logan all he could handle, took him to extra frames, and Big Logan finally pushed through to win his first singles title on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And best of all, he did it when his father, stepmom, and grandparents were all visiting from Tennessee, there to see it all unfold. How good is that? Of course, the idiot cameraman who filmed the pin signing and very emotional show of support for Logan by his family failed to hit the record button. So while you see me walking around Logan as he signs the coveted trophy pin, the only video I actually recorded was this. Oh well. Next week, most of our A players are out of town for the Georgia All-Stars tournament. And I'm hearing whispers that we might be hosting a fairly large contingent of out-of-state visitors next week. So we might have a very special Prodigy next week with a bunch of new faces. We'll see. But that's it for our 2018 Halloween Spooktacular we call Trick or Treat, as easy as 1, 2, 3. Enjoy the holiday, keep the little ones safe, and we'll see you next week on Prodigy Bowlers Tour.